Thanks for joining St. George News at 8. I'm Scott Beadle. A brush fire near Interstate 15 at mile marker 33 that started Monday morning is growing rapidly and has drawn a quick response from fire agencies. The Snowfield fire was reported just before 10 o'clock. The fire, which was located north of Pintura, grew to 75 to 100 acres by about noon. Officials say the fire is burning on the west side of I-15 in grass and brush over some moderately steep terrain. The fire is considered 0% contained, and one structure about a mile from the fire is considered threatened. 4 single-engine air tankers and 3 heavy tankers are attacking the blaze, along with 7 engines and about 30 firefighters on the ground. This fire is believed to be human-caused, but the exact cause is under investigation. Meanwhile, the Brian Head fire, first reported at midday Saturday, has grown to nearly 1,000 acres as of yesterday afternoon. FEMA has now authorized funding assistance in this one. The fire made slow movement through the night. A Forest Service Public Information Officer says there is a low risk for potential fire growth. 1 home is confirmed destroyed. 4 others have been damaged. About 750 residents of Brian Head were evacuated Saturday. That order remained in effect throughout the entire weekend. We do have an updated list of road and trail closures on our website, stgeorgenews.com. The fire has been determined to be human-caused, with an investigation still underway. The San Juan County Sheriff's Office is seeking the public's help in locating a missing person. 21-year-old Coolidge Bilsey went missing Thursday out of Blanding, according to the Sheriff's Office Facebook page. Bilsey is about 6 feet tall and weighs 170 pounds. He has black hair and is described as tall and slender. He might be driving a black 2008 Dodge Dakota with Utah plates X582WW. Any information pertaining to the whereabouts of Bilsey should be directed to San Juan County Dispatch at 435-587-2237. Over the past 13 years, Ruby's Inn has raised $700,000 for the Bryce Canyon National History Association through its Dollar Checkoff program. This program allows guests to give back while visiting the famous Bryce Canyon National Park. Guests at each Ruby's Inn's 3 hotels are given the option to donate to the Dollar Checkoff program. If a guest decides to participate, the visitor is charged $1 each night of their stay, which goes directly to the Bryce Canyon National History Association. Just last year, Ruby's Inn's and its guests raised over $75,000 for the association. The Dollar Checkoff program started in 2004 as a way to raise money for several essential improvements needed in Bryce Canyon, including fixing parts of the famous Navajo Loop Trail. Now, about 98% of guests participate. A Virgin Valley High School grad wins a $4,500 scholarship. Kennedy Ludvigsen was awarded that prize during the 15th annual Mesquite Amateur Golf Tournament. She was picked from among 29 applicants and plans to remain in Utah for college. That scholarship is handed out annually by Mesquite Gaming and the Bruce King Memorial Fund. Now to London, where a driver plowed through a crowd of Muslim worshippers outside a mosque overnight. 1 person is dead and at least 11 injured. Authorities now say this was a deliberate attack on the Muslim community. Ariel Reshef has the latest.
Just after midnight, a frantic scene all too familiar in the streets of London. A white van careening into a crowd of people.
No one touched him, no one.
When he was on the ground, I asked him, why did you do that? Why? Innocent people. He goes, I want to kill Muslims.
Authorities now saying the driver, a 47-year-old white male, deliberately targeted Muslim worshippers during the holy month of Ramadan. Emergency crews rushing to tend to the victims.
I've never heard people scream and moan of that nature. Some wasn't moaning, some was just on the floor, as though they were dead,
Officials first calling it a major incident and later an act of terror.
This was an attack on Muslims near their place of worship. And like all terrorism, in whatever form, it shares the same fundamental goal.
Anger and anxiety spilling over.
It's always innocent people that are getting hurt.
As London copes with a spate of violence aimed at driving the city apart.
This attack behind me on Seven Sisters, the attack in Manchester, the attack on London Bridge, the attack on Westminster Bridge, are all an attack on our shared values.
And an attacker rammed his car into a police convoy in the Champs-Élysées shopping district in Paris. French authorities say the man behind the attack was a 31-year-old from a Paris suburb who had been flagged for extremism. Police say that man was killed in the incident. Officers found weapons and explosives in the vehicle. Chief Meteorologist Chris Summers has your Southern Utah forecast right after this.
The weather tonight is brought to you by AWI Networks, smarter internet.
And welcome back, everyone. A good Monday evening to you. Still seeing those very hot temperatures across southern Utah here today. Temperatures into the triple digits, close to 110 to 115 degrees in some areas. So National Weather Service has put out an excessive heat warning in effect. The area kind of in the pink from St. George all the way back into parts of southern Nevada, all the way back into California as well. Areas in orange is where a heat advisory is in effect. And you can see a little bit further to the north as you go into parts of Utah. We don't have any type of watches or warnings for the heat, but anywhere you go, it looks like temperatures are going to be into the triple digits. Even Cedar City looking like they could get very close to 100 degrees for high temperatures as we get to our Tuesday. So it looks like through midweek we're going to keep these hot temperatures around our area too, seeing some record challenging temperatures, especially down near Phoenix, where you get close to 120 degrees down in that area. Again, could be looking at record highs as far as all-time record highs as far as temperature goes here in the southwestern United States. Again, about 110 to 115 degrees here in St. George and southern Utah. Now go to the beaches of California. That's where you may see some cooler weather, but also heat exhaustion a big concern too. If you are going to be out and about here the next several days, make sure you drink plenty of fluids and find that shade tree as much as you can as well. Here's a look at our high temperatures from today. 98 degrees up in Cedar City, 101 in Enterprise, 108 degrees of high temperature Hurricane, 110 here in St. George, but again 113 to 115 in southern Nevada from Las Vegas to Mesquite. And it looks like those triple digit temperatures will still be around for the next several days. Don't really see big changes in our forecast anytime soon. So overnight lows tonight drop back into the mid 60s or low 60s. In Cedar City, looks like a low to mid to upper 70s from Hurricane to Mesquite to St. George by tomorrow. So even overnight, seeing very warm temperatures. And as we go through your Tuesday, we'll go for a high of 101 in Cedar City. Could be a new record high, or at least very close to record high for Cedar City, with partly to mostly sunny skies, west-southwest winds at 10 to 15 miles per hour, and 112 the temperature for St. George. Again, mostly sunny skies, looking for west-southwest winds up to 15 miles per hour. So record tying or record challenging heat continues here the next couple of days. We're going to stay hot, dry, and really see a lot of sunshine here even through the rest of the work week. And I don't see a big change in our weather forecast. Maybe to the weekend, might see temperatures cool off a little bit, but only still looking like highs stay in the upper 90s even for the weekend. So no big cool down anytime soon. Before Tuesday, here's a look at our high temperatures again from Cedar City to Enterprise at temperatures in the triple digits. Looking for a high temperature in Cedar City at 101, 102 in Newcastle, and 101 in Enterprise, and around St. George and southern Utah, all the way back into parts of Arizona and into Nevada, 117 degrees, the forecast high for Mesquite, 112 here in St. George, and 111 degrees in Hurricane. 7-day forecast for Cedar City shows temperatures do get back in the low 90s as we head into the weekend, but still very warm. May see some isolated storm chances early next week in Cedar City, but in St. George and southern Utah, yeah, still staying above 110 here over the next several days. And by the time we get to the weekend, may drop back into the 104 range, which, you know, once you get over 100 degrees, doesn't really matter. I mean, temperatures are going to are warm and hot any way you look at it, and dry conditions continue as well with that excessive heat warning in effect through much of the work week and into the weekend as well.
Chris, you're kind of out of space for your numbers there.
I know
that's not a good thing.
That's not a good thing when they got to get squeezed in there like that all the time, but it looks like one big number, and any way you look at it, when you get over 100 degrees for this stretch of period, yeah, it's going to be hot out there, that's for sure.
All right, thanks, Chris. Still ahead, a rather large unexpected guest shows up in a Massachusetts yard. A pig escapes a Massachusetts farm and ends up in someone's front lawn. Homeowner called the police. They're expecting to come across something a little smaller, like a potbelly pig. Instead, it was a big old pig, 1,000 pounds to be precise. And since this is a small town, police were able to find someone who knew where that pig lived. Owner Frank Martino says the pig's name is Bruno, and apparently his antics are known pretty well.
Yeah, buddy. How we doing? He probably escaped since he's been a baby about 3 or 4 times. We didn't know how big he was going to get, so now we have to think of a new way of locking with a padlock, that type of thing.
Martino says he'll have to work on better securing Bruno in the future.
That is for sure. That's probably a big surprise when you see him walking across the front yard.
That's kind of a big fella. Well, thanks for watching.
We hope you have a great night.